Flosstube, it's Karen, recovering monogamous stitcher. Today is Friday, October 10, 2025, and this is video number 80. Thank you for stopping by my sewing room. You're so welcome. I'm happy that you chose to spend some time with me today. If you're a longtime subscriber, thank you so much for your support and your comments and for continuing to come back. And if you're one of my new subscribers, welcome. Thank you very much for joining my virtual sewing family. I'm really happy to have you here. My number does continue to grow and it's heartwarming. Thank you so much. I do have one cleanup from the last video because I'm having an issue with the Recovering Monogamous Stitcher email. Nothing is coming in. So for several weeks, I haven't gotten any messages. So you'll remember last time I did giveaway in celebration of my 5,000 subscribers and for my 3 years on YouTube. And I have been able to, 2 people are taken care of, but there are 2 people I'm trying to get in touch with to make sure that I can get their address, etc. Okay, so Amy Huddleston. I have put a comment on your comment asking you to contact me on Instagram with a message, please, with your address so I can mail your project bag to you. Please do that. So I hope you'll either see it on this video or you'll see it on your comment. I hope you get, I think you receive a comment, don't you? When someone makes a comment, it comes to you. And Lena, she won the international the prize we had saved for the international viewers, and I have, when I get your email address, I will send it to Shelly, and she will send you a code that you can use at any time. And again, please go to Instagram, Recovering Monogamous Stitcher, and send me a message with your email address. Thank you. So I hope you both see that because I want to get these taken care of and sent out and have everybody get the prize that they won. Okay, so I'm going to start with looking at cross stitch and the results of Sampler September. I have a tiny bit of haul. We're going to look at my plans, and we'll save the featured quilt for the end. But we will also look at my light table setup that I use when tracing or placing my pattern pieces on the outline of the pattern. And we'll look at my die cutting machine, and I'll show you how I cut out my pieces for all the applique pieces that go on the quilt. But that's at the end. So, okay, so starting with the Book of Days. I keep track of all of my stitching in the Book of Days. We finished September. And every single day in September I was able to stitch. It was a great sampler September, and I've started October and filled in. And over here I have my goals for the month, so we'll talk about that. Let's see, in the last 2 weeks I had several Zoom meetings. I've had a Zoom with Central Kentucky Stitchers and a Zoom with Queen City Sampler Guild and Zoom with my StitchCon friends. Always great fun. It's the second best kind of stitching is virtual, and the best is when you're in person, but I love staying in touch. Okay, so Sampler September, as I said, was very successful for me. I was able to stitch every day in September. No glitches, no things happened that interrupted the schedule. I didn't have to miss a day. So I was able to devote 5 days to each of 6 different samplers. And I feel pretty good about the progress I made. So I'll do a quick review of the ones you have already seen. And then the last one, of course, the number 6 was stitched after the last floss tube. So that will be, I'll put that in with whips. So the first one I stitched on in Sampler September was Susanna Lawton. And this is a pattern from Queenstown Sampler Designs. And she is stitched on 45, oh, now I have to figure out how to get this off my 45 count Jersey cream. And I'm using all of the called for DMC flosses. And I've established the width of the piece there. That was almost 5 days. That was 5 days of stitching. I had very little done before. I think I had a flower and a leaf or something starting over here. A flower and a leaf and a little bit of the bones. So, but that's a lot of stitching. That's really solid. So that was Susanna Lawton. That was number 1. The second sampler I worked on was Florence Mary Dickenson from Hands Across the Sea. I think this was an exclusive from Hobby House. Yes, exclusive from Hobby House if you're interested in this. And this is what I did. And I'm stitching this on 40 count graham cracker, which comes from Kitten Stitcher. I think her son is the dyer of that. And I'm using all the called for DMC floss. Now previously I had the entire border done, all of the flowers and everything, and I had this little bird done. That was it. So 5 days, this pot, this tree, these two little things. So that took 5 days. That's a lot of color changes, but it's beautiful. Okay, that's Florence Mary Dickenson. And the third sampler I stitched on was Catherina, Adriana, Leunissen. This is from 1884 Stitchery. I'm stitching her on 46 count Praline from Forbidden Fiber Co. I am using the floss conversion provided from Emily C. She's Eclectic Possessions on Instagram and YouTube. Except I did change one of them back. The darkest blue she recommended just blended in with the black so much that was not able to really tell the difference. So I switched that one back. This is a fun stitch. And she's big, it's gonna take a long time. Was that 3? So this is 4. The fourth sampler I stitched on was Jessie Challinor, Hands Across the Sea. And this is an exclusive pattern from the attic in Mesa, Arizona. And I'm stitching the bright colorway, which is the way Jessie would have seen the piece when she stitched it. Let's see, I had not finished the entire green border around, so I finished that, and I did this down here, and previously I had this flower section done. I think I had both of those 2 rows done and this to the center, and I had just the top parts of these 3 flowers. So I finished that, the pot, and these words down here in the border, and I just started this section of leaves, and the beautiful bird is going to be here, and then this is mirrored again over here. So lots of stitching to go. That's Jessie Challinor. Sampler number 5 is Mrs. Campbell from Hands Across the Sea. I don't think this is an exclusive. No, this is not exclusive. No. I am stitching Mrs. Campbell on 46 count, one more reproduction from BeStitchMe. I'm using all the called for DMC. And previously I had the bones all the way across, and I think I had 3 flowers filled in. And I had these 3. So I finished this row, and this is Algerian eyelet. So I finished that row, and I did more flowers. I did this one, and I think probably 4 of them. I think I only had 3 or something done. And then I did the bones all the way down here, and I added these dividing lines in, and that was 5 days worth. She's beautiful. That's Mrs. Campbell. So that was sampler number 5. And then the sampler number 6, I'm going to show you with my whips because you haven't seen that one yet, so I'll be right back. Okay, so sampler number 6 from Sampler September, I stitched on, is it Margaret? Margaret Coy from Hands Across the Sea. I got this at the retreat at Hobby House in September, so I don't believe it's in general release yet, but in a year it'll get released. This is not an exclusive. I don't think it's exclusive. It doesn't say exclusive, so I don't think so. This is a really unique sampler. She shows polka dancers there, Tom Thumb's carriage. So cute. Oops. Yeah, I'll just throw it on the floor there. Sorry. Okay, and this is Margaret Coy now. I had previously had the entire red border done, and this brown bones of the border, that's what I had done. I had not done flowers, so you can see I've started on the flowers, gotten a couple of rows of letters done, started another dividing line here. and that's Margaret Coy. Okay, the next WIP I worked on, and this was starting in October, I went to the Stars and Stripes Sal projects. And Stars and Stripes Sal, you'll see in the notes below, I've put the Facebook link and the Instagram link. And this is, I am hosting this Sal, Stitch Along or Start Along, with Janet, who is my mother's daughter, KY, on Flosstube. And you should check her out if you have not. And our Facebook group has over 400 members, followers, whatever you call it on Facebook. I'm not a Facebook person, so Janet takes care of all of that. So we're doing Stars and Stripes, and we have a timetable that if you get this one done in 4 months, this one done in 4 months, and this one done in 1 month, you will have them done by Memorial Day 2026. You will be ready to have your patriotic display up all summer in celebration of our semi-quincentennial next year. So we're having fun with this. Anyway, so with 4 months, if this was this was my second month assignment. So I'm estimating that I am at least halfway done. And if I am at least halfway done, I'm on schedule to be done. I mean, to get it done in time. So I'm estimating that I have about half of this done, even though there's this half of the building, this to be filled in, and the roof, and more doodads here. But I think this is done. So that keeps me on schedule with that one. And checking the link in the notes below for information about the Stitch Along and the Facebook page, etc. Okay, the third thing, anyway, the next thing I stitched on for October was I got back to my red sampler. I always have a red sampler on the go, and I put 3 days a month on a red sampler and keep stitching on it until it's done. And last time I showed you that I was taking some lines of stitching out because I was going to make this fit in a specific frame that I had gotten on sale at a terrific price. And I believe it will just fit top to bottom. It will just fit. The sides are fine. There's a little extra there. So there was a lot of taking out on this. I had lines, and I would start several letters, and then I'd do another dividing line and several letters. So I kind of had some of these done down here. But then I was taking out rows and moving them up, eliminating some blank rows. And so I did quite a bit of taking out, actually. And there's my spool. You can see the spool. I'm going to run out. So I've ordered another spool of 523, number 523. This is Soie 100.3. So I'll get that, and then I'll get back to this. So this is my red sampler for the time being until she is done. And then I stitched on my focus piece, and those of you who have been with me for a long time know that I always have a focus piece, and it is my oldest WIP. I do keep track of that, so I know what my oldest WIP is. And I require myself to stitch on that WIP 7 days in a month. It can be 7 days in a row or split up, however is convenient, but 7 days every month, and it stays my focus piece until it is done. My current focus piece is Anne Got. This is an adaptation of a reproduction. So I did some little changing too, since it was not an absolute reproduction. I didn't feel like I had to do it exactly like this. Like I didn't want this message, a present for my aunt. So I changed it. The chart does contain ways that you can change it. You can change, they have charted different names like mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, whatever. And then they also have a little verse that can go, a little saying that can go up there instead of the present to my aunt. So I did some messing around with it. This is the charted saying that they include in the pattern of Anne Got. And I did some changes down here so I could get my initials and the year. And I've dated it 2025, so better get it going. I finished the house. It was maybe half done. And now I've started on this leaf and rose motif here. It's quite large, quite a lot of stitching in it, and that will be the last thing, and then this will be done. This is Anne Gott. She's my focus piece. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm going to show you a little bit of haul. Don't run for the hills. There's not a lot. Oh, this is, well, that was awkward. Okay. I have a few things here. Okay. First of all, my monthly floss club from Fat Quarter Shop. This is the Weeks Dye Works colors. And we have raspberry, and I've prepared these to go in my box, my storage box. I put an extra hole so that when I start a thread and have some left, I put it on that hole. And I use these plastic hang tags so that they hang more like the other ones that have longer tags, like Classic Colorworks, etc. So this is raspberry. This is red pear. This is red rocks. River otter. Oops, river rock. And roasted figs. And that's my Weeks Dye Works monthly club from Fat Quarter Shop. I'm also in the Classic Colorworks club. Now, last time I showed you the Sew Sampler box that I get by subscription from Fat Quarter Shop that is quilting projects. And it included a pattern for this table runner. And it included the triangles on a roll to do with using jelly roll, doing this braided effect. And I also mentioned to you last time that every one of those subscription boxes has a code or something for a discount on something or a percentage off, or if you spend so much, you get something free. So the offer last time was if you spend, I think it was $40, you would get a free roll of the jelly braid. So I now have 2 of these because I got this free. And I did that by getting the finishing set for the table runner, because I fully intend to do that table runner, so cute. And then I also purchased ahead of time the finishing kit for the October, and I'm not going to show you what it is, but there's 2 fabrics in the finishing set for the October project that's going to come in the October subscription box. So that was a good deal. Okay, and that's it for the haul. And I'm going to do a little pause, be right back. Okay, I'm going to talk about my plans a little bit coming up. Some exciting things. In Central Kentucky Stitchers, we have, occasionally we offer a Saturday stitch time to get together. We want to offer an opportunity for our friends who are not yet retired and or are never available on our Tuesday morning stitch times to come on a Saturday. So we're going to be in Frankfort, and if you are in that area and are interested, please go to the Facebook group and find the details for the place and time. We'd love to have stitchers come and join us, but you do need to check in at that Facebook group. So check that out. And also Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, we're in 1 week, we'll have a couple in-person meetings. We'll be stitching in the Georgetown area. And again, check our Facebook group for the specific location and the time. We'd love to have you stop in and join us. We always have such a good time. Another part of my plans is Jingle Ball. Jingle Ball is coming up in a week from today at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The tickets will go on sale. Everybody who's going to attend the Jingle Ball must have the general admission ticket. That's $15. And there are so many things you can do with that, even if you don't take any classes. There's the shopping that's set up. There's the meet and greet with the teachers. There's the stitching rooms. You can go in and chat and talk to people while you're stitching at home. I think there's speed dating or something like that. So there are all kinds of things you can do with just that ticket. In addition, there are wonderful classes offered You can just get the PDF for the class and kit up the project yourself and listen to the video. The video is available for you to go back to for 30 days. You can listen to it as many times as you need to in that 30 days before it disappears. And the classes also offer a kit. So of course you're paying extra for the kit. So I have chosen, well, actually I've been vacillating. Should I do two? Will I just do the one? I don't know. I'm definitely going to do the Stacy Nash animal cracker, what does she call it? Ginger, I think the little character is called Ginger. I'm going to do that one. I'm hem-hawing about another one. I'll see what I'm doing, but I'm definitely going to the Jingle Ball. That's always such a great time. And thank you to Stephanie Webb of Lindy Stitches for being the ringleader of all of that. And there are 12 different teachers teaching all kinds of things that you'd love it. So check it out. So October 17th, I got to be on the ball and get online and get my ticket. Now, I'm also going to continue stitching in my rotation. I owe my focus piece another 5 days, as I said, and that includes today. I want to go back to one of my BAPs, which is Susanna Lawton. I want to give her some time. I'm not saying how many days yet. I'm going to see how this all plays out this month. And I want to do new starts. And I guess I'm just going to ignore my fall Halloween stitching things that I have ready because I got to get some new starts. I'm just so itching. These things are screaming at me. One is Queen of the May from Hands Across the Sea. Elizabeth Stevenson. Isn't she beautiful? I have everything I need. I have my silks, I have my fabric, and I am ready to go. So Elizabeth Stevenson is going to get started, and then again, I don't know how many days I'll give to it. I'm not going to commit. These are going to be noisy because I'll see how the month goes. And then, I thought I had all of these unzipped. Yeah, I did, okay. And then I'm going to start my first Bristol from Kathleen Littleton. Antiques, what is it? What is her company called? Antique Sampler. What is the company? It's Cross Stitch Antiques. I'm sorry, that was clunky. So this is the one, we received 3 of these at the retreat at Hobby House in September, and this is the one I chose that I'm going to start, and I am going to start it this month. And I think I showed you the fabric and the threads last time, the silks. So that's going to get started. And Rebecca Worrell. I'm just so ready to get going on this one. I love this one. I loved it as soon as I saw it. This is from the Wishing Thorn. And I have the DMCs, and I have my fabric, which is, she had suggested summer khaki, which is not an overdye, it's just a Zweigert base. So I'm going to get started. That's 3 new starts. You know, this formerly monogamous stitcher is getting a little wild here. But it's been so long since I've had a new start, and I want to start those. So I am going to start those. Those are my plans. And now I'm going to talk about the featured quilt. I'll show you my light table and how I use that. And I will show you my die cutting machine, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, this quilt is called Dresden Bloom. The designer is Edita Sitar from Laundry Basket Quilts. It is it's kind of a special Dresden plate. You see these inserts here, and they're 3D. So they're really kind of cool. And they really stand out. Now there's going to be sashing and cornerstones at each of the intersections to go through there. I have all of the blocks, the regular blocks have been appliqued down. Those are sewn down, they're ready to go. The other applique blocks, not yet. These are attached. I put, you know, the water soluble fabric glue back behind those. And then these are adhered down with, what is it called? Steam-a-seam light. So I've done the center block since last time. I finished sewing all of these down. I did the center block. I have the 4 setting triangles. I've done 2 of the corners. Those are rather large. Those are the biggest pieces I've done with my light table, and I'll show you a little bit how I work with that. There's the other one at the other corner, the corner pieces. It's really going to be pretty. I love it. Someone asked me in the comments, what is cheddar fabric? Because I had mentioned that I had chosen cheddars for the centers, and that's what Edita suggested too. And, okay, let's see, come over here. I have my, now how can I show you? Okay, I have my color wheel. What is cheddar? Okay. Cheddar is not yellow. Oops. It's not orange. It's got a gold color to it. So when I look at my fabrics that I chose, you can see there's a gold color to them. They're not yellow. They're not orange. There's that gold. And all of them, I found 8 fabrics in my stash. Whoops, I'm turning it the wrong way. In my stash that kind of had that gold color. So I have 8 different cheddar colors that I've used throughout. And so here's another, I had ordered online some fabrics from a collection, a fabric collection that was called Cheddar and something. I don't even remember what it was. But so oh, okay, these are cheddar. Well, when I got them, I went, they really aren't cheddar, they're orange. Look at them next to these. These are orange, so they didn't make the cut. They'll go in some other project sometime, but they are not golden colored. They are orange, definitely orange. So those didn't make it. Okay, now, let me see if I can handle this without touching a button and turning it off. Okay, this is my light table. Let's see, you can see it? Yeah. And I have, below it, I have a light that's meant to be an under cabinet light, and I keep it for my light table only. It gets stored with my light table. So when the light's on, I can see through, I can see the pattern. Now this, as I said, this is a big pattern. I've never done this large a piece on my light table before. There must have been 6 or 7 pages that I had to cut and tape and put together. In some places they overlap, so it looks a little thicker than others, but I can see through it just fine. And so what I do with this when I set up, so I've put a few of the stems on. So I put the stems on, lay them on. I take my piece off and put it on my ironing surface here. And then I, iron it down. And then I move it back. Now, in order to do that and not mess up, they had center marks here, and I extended the center marks so I could really see where the center was, and I put pins on my center line so that when I move it, I'm not losing my center line. And I put a couple pins at the top just so that that corner wouldn't flap out of the way. So it's been pretty successful for me. I love this light table. It wasn't very expensive. I got it at a place, I was going to pull that sheet out. I'm sorry. In California, I got it maybe 13 or 14 years ago. And I remember that shipping was like ridiculous. Shipping was like $14 to get it here, and that was almost, well, no, it wasn't either. Well, it was probably about half of the price of the table. But it's a great table. It's lightweight, but I've used it and used it and used it, and it's great. So that's my light table, and that's how I use it. When I'm doing something that's just the size of one block, it does come with clips, so you can clip your pattern and fabric so that it won't scoot away and get, not aligned. But since this is so big and I'm moving it on and off, I'm not using the clips for this. Okay, I'm going to pause and go over and show you my die cutting machine. Okay, this is an AccuQuilt Go machine. I have the manual model where you hand crank pushing the pieces through. They also have an electric model. I didn't think I would be using it enough to justify buying an electric, and I'm perfectly happy with this hand crank model. So what you do is you have your die set, and I have the die set from Edita Sitar. I've used this probably the most of any of my die sets that I've used. It's wonderful. And these are the exact shapes that go with this pattern. And these get repeated in a lot of her patterns. So if you're ever doing her designs and you don't want to buy the laser cut that she sells, and prefer to do your own, and you think it's worth it to do, to buy the die set and machine, you could do that. But if you're just doing one project, probably buying the laser cut would be best. But this is what I have. I've used it a lot and it works great. So here's the template board. It's the blades are embedded down inside the foam. So, it's smooth at the top, but if it gets pushed down, the blades come up and cut, and that's how you do it. So I would put it down like that. I would lay my fabric on that has the adhesive on the back. Now, if you're just cutting out shapes like strips or squares or something, you don't have to do the adhesive, but my project has the adhesive. So I use the Steam a Seam Light, adhere that on the back side of the fabric. I put it right side down. It really wouldn't matter, except the birds would be reversed if you did it the other way, but I just by habit do it the same way all the time, and then I never have a problem. So you lay your fabric down that has your Steam a Seam on it. You put this cutting mat on top, and with one hand I can't show you, but I push, and as soon as the handle grabs it, you wind it through and it works it through, and then you have your cut pieces. And when they come out, then I sort them into little bags. All the appropriate sizes are together. So, and that's how I cut my pieces. But as I say, if you're not going to do a lot of things, you would probably be better off just to buy her laser cut sets, because they're made to go with it. So that is it for today. I will be back on, I just looked it up, October 24th, sorry. October 24th for the next Flosstube. I will be, if you're coming to Central Kentucky Stitchers Saturday Stitch In Frankfort, I could see you there. If you're coming to the Stitch In Day in Georgetown, I can see you there. Otherwise, I'll see you here on the 24th. Thanks so much. I'm glad you stopped by, Stitchers. Have happy stitching.